Okay, so now so basically what happens is we find out Max is back and he is up to something. It's the reason the schools are closed. It's the reason, the dwarves appear to be greedy. Um, the princess ends up missing. So that's what happens in chapter 2. In chapter 3, we learn the midpoint that he's building this huge portal machine. So he's raising his armies. So from what I understood in let's see some here for would be a start of chapter 4, the end of chapter 2. No, I'll just leave it like this until I find something better to do on it. But so now they know, and in fact, thing is, things start going wrong for our heroes, and it's the thing that my dad called the Spielberg or the Spielberg and Lucas thing, where basically at the end of Act 2, everybody appears to have lost pretty much everything. And I know the other things follow this formula, but it's most obvious in Steven Spielberg and George Lucas movies. Maybe even more George Lucas stuff, even more. They end up getting caught, right? And they have to get out of their deal. Let's see. Star Wars, they kind of got caught, but then they formulate a plan and then they get out of there. They get uncaught. So it doesn't quite go like they said. I guess with the original Star Wars is actually especially good how they wrote it, because what happens is let's see, did they let him go? They figured it was Princess Leia figured it was too easy to escape, and maybe that was because they had found the secret rebel base, right? So it's kind of like they didn't care, and so that is where you would say, right? So the Death Star is approaching Yavin, and is going to destroy it. And so that's kind of their going wrong moment, even though a bunch of things don't go wrong. But the Empire thinks they have the rebels by they're going to destroy them. But so this whole thing of chapter 3 can actually be about Max's plans and just generally stuff like that happens. Now this is going to happen at the end. So at the beginning of the end of chapter 2, so at the beginning of chapter 4, there's got to be a big turning point there for some deal. And I'm not sure what it is. I mean, obviously they probably get captured or whatever. How would they do that? I'm trying to write an overall, just like an outline. So remember I said the bats in the Belfry Motel, Count Roy. who ends up being their friend, and they kind of make their base at that. Well, I can put that in here, but that's not really. It has to be a big turning point, right? Now here is just them gathering information, and then here, what do I actually do next? What's going to happen in the end? Well, what's going to happen in the end is they're going to get ready to open the machine, and they've already got their armies. And actually, that can actually be the plot point too here, is that so I guess I'll kind of make it kind of semi-generic, right? Plot point 1, I see how I did that. So plot point 2 should actually be down here. Plot point 2, that. Chapter 4 is not going to be a plot point chapter. Chapter 4 is John and halfway try to let's see. I mean, it can be a typical thing like, you know, they try to destroy the machine and they end up getting captured, right? What do? They try to destroy the machine? Do they try to rescue the slaves? We can try rescuing the slaves. Try to rescue the slaves. Well, heck, might as well just kind of copy something. They also attempt to find a weakness in the machine, or find a way to. That can't be it either, because I think the machine is going to be completed, but right. Also, that tourists who were taken are now zombified slaves. Okay, so the midpoint. So I won't write this in here, but maybe they find one of the slaves who managed to escape. Remember in the Temple of Doom where one of the kids escapes, and you could do something like that. And they find out all this stuff. Okay, so in chapter 4, what happens in chapter 4? Our heroes try to get into the goblin caves, because that's what I was going to do originally anyways, in order to see if they can either disrupt the machine or free the slaves. Okay. Now, I put that they discover, so I don't want to go too much into detail on this because I'm going to be forming some stuff later involving each of the characters' arcs and how they help the thing, and because basically what we want is we're going to have them split up. So let's see. Discover who Max is at the end of chapter 2. So they manage to free most of these slaves, but they leave. They find out Halfway is not with them. That sets up plot point 2. Halfway gets caught. Well, actually, you know, Halfway getting caught, I mean, that's an okay for a plot point 2, but you know, even if you got caught, what they formulate a plan to maybe take down the machine and stuff. Halfway isn't with them. Well, now what? Now it's got to go rescue him, right? Max somehow tells John and his friends that they've captured Halfway. Here we're gonna do this a little differently here. We're gonna have the end of chapter 4 being part of that. Find Halfway's with them, and then Let's see. Whoa. Don't want to show too much of my room. So we want to play this into this, the fact that the king and queen are still alive. Our heroes trying to give them goblin caves. We managed to free most of them. Well, I guess that's the end of today's video, or this video. You're gonna have to stay tuned. Don't touch that dial, so you can hear the rest of the story as I make it up. So I'll see you next time.